Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you people. I myself, Siddharth Kumaran, based out of India, and I'm a technical consultant working as a data engineer and a machine learning engineer for the organization, a firm based out of US. As part of my job role, I deal with handling a lot of data that remains to be coming from various sources, from CRMs, ERPs, structured and unstructured, and I go ahead and build data warehouses, lakehouse architectures around Databricks. I'm a certified Azure data engineer and a certified Databricks administrator and a machine learning engineer, and my role play primarily involves handling this data and giving it to my various consultants who work around data and machine learning. So that's about myself. Participants, there is a very much buzz going around in the industry. There is much buzz. What is this buzz they are calling it as? They're calling it as lake house. They are calling something as lake house architecture. Now, what is this lake house architecture and why it is required? So, participants, Databricks was the first company to bring this concept, lake house architecture. So, what is this lake house architecture? If I start talking about it, it will be very much confusing for all of you. But I'll put it in simple and easier terms for you to understand at this moment. Break down this word lake house into two parts. Data lake, you see here on this image, data lake, and data warehouse. That is warehouse, the word warehouse. So, if you go ahead and pick up the lake house architecture, if you start to break down the keyword, that is lake house, the word lake house, you'll see two words into it. What is that two words? Data lake plus data warehouse. So it's actually derived from this idea. Now, why exactly you are required to understand this? Participants, industry has already started to make the footsteps around this concept, and this is very much happening in the real world. A lot of companies have made this possible. So, what exactly it is, why it is required, and how to go ahead and understand this? Participants, to understand this image will be of great help to you. So, there was time when organizations were completely focused on the data which was structured. But the problem with the structured data was the data, whenever fits into the requirement, then only you can go ahead and do processing with data warehouse. So, in simple, if you want to do data warehousing, you need to have data in structured format. Fast forward now to 2024. Today we have data that happens to be structured in nature, semi structured in nature, and unstructured in nature. Okay, so participants, let's understand this way with an example. If you look at an example, structure means standard employee table for now. Consider an employee table for now. That's a structure because we have tabular structure. Then what exactly is unstructured? If I go ahead and give you the same employee table in a JSON format, in a document format, document is coming, JSON document method. It's an unstructured format. So participants, now you're able to understand structure in the sense you have to understand that there is a table. The very popular structure that we have in the current world is table. Whereas unstructured means I'm going to go ahead and get the data in the form of a document. But both have to be processed. The limitation is that the data warehouses that you have been using are purely built for only structured data. That means you can only use it for structure. So the question is, what about unstructured data? What about unstructured data? That means you will not go ahead and process unstructured data. So to handle this, a lot of companies were focusing on getting the data, that is data from unstructured data, and what they have done is they have built delta lake concept around it. What they built? Delta lake tables they built. From this, they were able to achieve data warehousing around unstructured data. So the answer that I want to go ahead and give you is, participants, lakehouse is a concept that is very much buzzing. Why? Why it is trending? Because we live in a world where we want all things at one place. Data lake and warehouse, if you break down the word lakehouse architecture, data lakehouse architecture, you'll see two words. One is data lake, and the other one is data warehouse. Data warehouse together. So this image, if you carefully look in, it is making it possible. Data warehouse, which was earlier separate for only structured data, and data lake today is storage for everything, whereas the lakehouse architecture making it possible to handle structured data, unstructured data, handling data warehousing all put together. You may ask me, Siddharth, how it is possible? It's possible, people. The answer is delta lake tables. So we will be able to build lakehouse architectures with delta lakes. So data lake is a concept that is picking up, and it's already been there for a long time now, which is a open source project that makes possible to build your lakehouse architecture. So the same concept, if you look in, you see here that we have just saw in the form of an image, that when you are handling structured data versus structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, where we are able to only process structured data, where the storage is only supporting structure. Now, as with regards to unstructured, you're able to go ahead and process it with the help of lakehouse architectures. Participants, everyone, are you with me? Participants, are you with me, everyone? So, simple, the summary in one line. If you want to go ahead and build your skill into Databricks, you know, you should not build Databricks only. You should build skill under lakehouse architecture. Now, you might ask me a question, why should we go ahead and use it? Because you get everything at one place: storage, processing, visualization, support, integration, SQL, Spark, all at one place. How it is possible? As I said earlier, now once again I'm repeating, it's possible to build lake houses with delta lakes. So participants, it becomes a little difficult for you now to relate all of this at one place, but it's possible, people. It's possible to do. How it is possible? Is it really gonna make it? How is it possible to do? So to make it very clear and easy for all of you to understand, let me demonstrate to you, people. Let me get this demonstration for you. So what I'm going to do now for you, people, I'm going to go ahead and build a use case for you. What is that use case? The use case goes something like this. I'm having a New York taxi with me, New York taxi dataset with me. What is that? I am looking forward for a taxi. It's a publicly available data set. Anybody can go ahead. And in the next 30 minutes from now, I will build you an end-to-end solution. What is that solution? What I meant with this is I'll pick up a taxi data set and I'm going to go ahead and tell you people how this taxi data set is going to go ahead and get handled. So what I meant with this is I'm going to go ahead and have this taxi data set and I'm going to go ahead and build a complete use case around it. So participants, are you with me everyone? Participants, are you with me everyone here? Live in front of you, I'll build you the lakehouse architecture also. I'll show you. Okay. So participants, now this is a data set that I have. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go to Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a recommended platform to run your Databricks. Fine. So what we need Databricks. So let me pick up Databricks for now. So I see that there is Databricks available. So Databricks is the first idea to make this lakehouse architecture possible, and Databricks is the first company to bring this concept. So what we'll do now, we will go ahead and look forward Databricks under the Microsoft Azure, so popularly called as Azure Databricks. I don't have any Databricks now. I'm getting a Databricks provision for you. So I'll go ahead and give a name for it. Main workspace. I'm going to provision inside a location and I'm going to go ahead and use a free trial account. And that's it. With that, I'll be able to go ahead and get the workspace validated. Now it is validated. Let me go ahead and get it created. So this is how we will get our service up and running, where we get our Databricks workspace created in a matter of another 2 to 3 minutes. We should have this account. So participants, what I want you to understand here is what exactly is my role play. That means now when I get a job as a data engineer involving Databricks, what I will do, I'll explain. Participants, companies are looking forward every day to handle their build around data lakes. That means they are building their data lakes, or assume that they have built their data lake. So what is the concept of data lake here? Storage. They store your data. So from that storage, what they want to go ahead and do analysis with data warehousing, SQL method. And also you can handle data science. You can go and handle, take care of machine learning. See how many advantages are being offered from the lakehouse architecture. The lakehouse architecture is extending the support to go ahead and do your data warehousing and build your BI solutions, reporting, data science, machine learning. So a lakehouse architecture is taking things to the next level. So what happens when you get hired by the organization? Organizations focus on taking your role, or when you join them in your role play, what you need to go ahead and contribute is handling data lakes, building pipelines, handling data processing, building queries, integrating with data sources, building pipelines, handling automation, writing queries to integrate with models if you are into machine learning. If they have models built around it, they want to go ahead and build machine learning models around it. They want to go ahead and you to take care of security administration. So all this aspect will be part of your job role, which I'm currently doing in my job role. Okay, I'll go ahead and talk more about it, but let me see the progress. Still, the progress is ongoing. That means it's still continuing. Yep, it is ready now. So let me just take a leap over it. I'm going to launch this workspace. That means I'm making an entry into it. Yeah. So it is making an attempt into the Databricks. So I have the Databricks now getting connected. Okay, so participants, this is how your Databricks console gonna look like. If you are unable to view, let me go ahead and make a setting for you where you can see this. Preferences in such a way that you can see this lighter version. Awesome. Now, Microsoft is the cloud provider, Databricks is the service provider. So what I want to do now, I want to do analytics on top of it. So for this, I need to get my data. So where exactly I will go and get the data from? I'm going to go ahead and get the data from a particular location. So I need to figure out that location. So what I'll do, I'll go to my storage account because I need to store my data. So I'll look for a storage account. So participants, here is the data lake storage that you can see for the Databricks that we have created. That's part of your account. Databricks resource group that was created. It's not created by me. It is created by Databricks. So let me show you what you have under the Databricks. So as part of the Databricks, you see here there is a data lake storage. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create another storage so that I can go ahead and use it for the purpose of querying. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and say main Azure blob storage to verify whether it is available. Yes, it is available. And just going to go ahead and do a review and get it created. What is storage account? A storage where I can go ahead and store something. So it's not allowing me to create. On scope, deny authorization. It says source group, Databricks. Okay. For what reason? I got it. Let me go ahead and create my own resource group. So it's not allowing me to create anything inside the resource group. I'll go ahead and create in my own resource group. Main Azure storage for taxi dataset for taxi because I want to store my data. So I need a storage. So I found one storage account to store it. So organizations have their own ways to store their things. Organizations have their own ways to go ahead and make things possible. So I'm creating now a storage account. What is storage account? A place where to store your data. So what is the data that we have? A taxi data set. So we need to go ahead and find a way to store that data as part of the taxi data set. Participants, even you can go ahead and do something like this. You can go ahead and store your data by clicking on this new and get the storage uploaded somewhere. So you can go ahead and upload to legacy model, which is outdated. You can even upload your tabular data into it. You can drag and drop. But I wanted to show you another way, and also let me rename it, participants. Otherwise, it will be confusing. Green taxi. So let me go ahead and upload it. Okay, if it is awaiting for the start to take place, let me go ahead and start the warehouse. Yeah, it started. So it's a serverless module. So let me get this module from a given data source. Resume the preview. So participants, now you have a file which got uploaded about 1.36. So we can get a table created. See, I had a file which I have uploaded into my Databricks account. Now it is available in the form of a table. This table, you know what this table is? Delta Lake table. It says some table is getting created. What is this table? Delta Lake table. Why Delta Lake table? Because Delta Lake table is the major source for us to do the programming now, processing now. So in order to go ahead and build lakehouse architecture, or the lakehouse architecture is helping you to get your data from an unstructured format. So here is an unstructured format, right? We have an unstructured format in the form of a Parquet, JSON, CSV files. But what we are able to get to now, we are able to get to see data is available now for us to process. The data is available now. If the data is available, you can get started to go ahead and handle through query or a notebook. So you can get started with a query. So if I go ahead and mention, I want to see the data from the SQL query. The data is available. And I want to go ahead and run a query. Hey, I want to get the data, select, say the fair amount. I'll show you the fair amount. Fine. Okay. I want to get sum of the or average of the fair amount. I want to take fair underscore amount. Okay. As average fair. See, it's smart enough to take it from taxi as well as passenger. I want to get passenger count because I want to see how many passengers we have as passenger count, and this one as the average fare. From the green taxi, I want to group by passenger count. So what is that learning you will get to see? When I go ahead and get to see the passenger count, I know how much each passenger is contributing. So let's go ahead and run it. There we go. So let me just go ahead and put this way, a little this side in this way. Passenger count, comma, average fare, green taxi as passenger count, green taxi as passenger count, and average amount of fare that they contribute. I would like to go and run it. So now I know how each of the passenger are making their entry possible. So I know this is not easy. So let's do one thing. Let's get this visualized. So let's go ahead and get a visualization in such a way that I want to see how passengers are contributing. Passenger count I'm taking on x-axis, average fare amount on the y-axis, and I want to group them by passenger count, colorful images. Let me go ahead and save it. Let me go ahead and download it. Yep. So average fare contribution by passengers. So on your screen now, people. Now I'll explain you. I'll take only 1 minute and explain you people. So participants, this was the data source that I had where the data was unstructured. The data was unstructured. With the lakehouse architecture of Databricks, I made it possible to go ahead and do programming with the data warehouse, and I'm able to go ahead and get to see in the form of a table from document Parquet file into a table. From table, I made to go ahead and able to run SQL programming with it. And I see the passenger count 9 is contributing the highest fare. And if I go ahead and see on an average, like most of the time, one passenger. What is the contribution of one single passenger? The contribution of one single passenger is around $16. If the two passengers are driving, around $17. So most of the time, organizations or the taxi aggregators, they look, okay, this is a right fare to go ahead and give for an average distance, and here is this. Okay, there is a lot more to discuss about the process, but overall summary is like this. I started with the definition of data lakehouse, where I get a data lake and a data warehouse. So let me show you those two first together. So participants, in your account, you will see the data lake here. There is a data lake. So Databricks, if you click the resource group associated with it, or if you click Databricks, so first let me show you the data lake first. So participants, here is your data lake where your data is kept for processing. In this, you store volumes, tables, everything. Data warehouse. So if you come into the account, you see data warehouse, SQL data warehouses. You can do programming with Apache Spark. I'm not going into those details at this moment. Followed by, you can handle data engineering and you can do machine learning. Likewise, there is a great scope in Databricks to make the use of Databricks in every vertical. Data engineering, machine learning, data science, programming with Spark, programming with SQL, data warehousing, data lakes. That's how lakehouse architectures are picking, are the new age technology and the new age organization need. So having said that, people, I hope you have understood the idea of lakehouse architecture. Now, with this discussion, I bring the discussion or the demonstration to a point where I'm ready to start taking your questions. So, participants, feel free to ask me. But before that, if you're asking a question, please, because this is my first time that I'm connecting with all of you, it would be great if you can give me a round of introduction about yourself. And please feel free to ask me because I can go ahead and talk the way you want. Because if you can give me a little about yourself, it will be easy for me to explain you in your context. So, participants, it's time for us now to take questions and queries. Participants, I'm now available to take your questions and queries, please.
Hi, Microsoft free access only for 14 days, right? Now, later, how can we going to access?
Sure, Swati, I'll explain you. So, as a service provider, Databricks has to go ahead and offer you services. So, Databricks comes up with two options. One option is full-fledged free or full-fledged a registration that you can do with uh, let me show you from here. If a premium version that you can go with, which is full length, that means time from the time you start using it, you'll get billed for it. That's a premium version. Followed by the same premium version is available for you to consider for about 14 days. So what is the difference? This is something that you will go and get charged as long as you use it. But this is not going to charge you for 14 days. But there is another option which is standard, but this standard is very, very limited in its features. You will not get majority of the features to practice as well. So I don't recommend it. I recommend you to either use this or 14 days of free trial. So this is one option that you can continue with. So what you can do, this is something I'm giving you as an option. What you can do for 14 days, you can practice in one workspace. You can start work, create another workspace after 14 days. That becomes another trail. So if you want to go and have it, this main workspace will be available for 14 days. Create another main workspace one. After 14th day, you create another workspace. So this way you can extend your learning. Okay, helpful.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Any other question, participants? If you have, feel free to ask me here.
Duration of the classes?
Okay. So for the uh, classes administration, everything, you can just be in touch with the point of contact. They will give you a complete scope of it. I'll just start taking because we will have to utilize the time for technical queries. I apologize, but I'll not be able to give you so. Please, you be in touch with the point of contact, Swati. Help. Okay.
Oh, yes. So when you're saying this Spice bucket, are you going to cover that too? And what kind of pay request we need for that?
Perfect, because it's a module without which we'll not be able to go ahead and deliver. So as part of our notebooks, if you get to see the handling of notebooks when we go ahead and write it, we essentially need a connectivity to go ahead and handle it, or a way for me to go ahead and write and connect to the program. So for that, you see here there is an option called Python. That means you should have good understanding of Python programming and handle the programming with regards to Spark. So what is that we are required to have? We are required to go ahead and have a skill that helps you to write the program in Python and handle your configurations that you want to do with regards to Spark. That's how the word came into picture called PySpark. Python as a library to write your language or your commands, and Spark is going to go ahead and help you to do the programming for you on your behalf. That's how this concept called PySpark came into picture. And I go ahead and use throughout this entire course PySpark as an option. Sorry, PySpark as a option that we will go ahead and use it for our programming. So that's all, people, from my side. So that's signing off for the day. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, participants.